馬 TV Super 世界體育盛事，極速格鬥 Top Gear Bellator 錦標賽，斯巴達終極團隊挑戰，世界女排大獎賽，紐倫堡杯女子國際網球巡迴賽2017，場場好波，意甲、法甲、美職聯、阿根廷甲組聯賽，德國杯，馬 TV Super 賽事專區 ，FINA 世界游泳錦標賽2017，快啲去買馬 TV Super 解碼器啦！至尊版只要1880蚊就睇足12個月。
In your very body, you carry power to give life or to give death. That's amazing. We want people to live in the value and dignity that comes in living in God's love.
Be inspired this Saturday morning at 10. Hour of Power on Pearl.
有機、純、天然，全新雅培 Alpha Organic 幼兒配方奶粉，全線符合歐盟有機標準，丹麥有機認證，雅培 Alpha Organic。
打波先嚟落雨，比賽先嚟拗柴，
着新鞋先嚟踢花，考試先嚟失手，
臨過關先嚟跳掣，
做 project 先嚟玩失蹤。
空肚先嚟冇早餐食，
激氣過後諗翻轉頭，頭先只係芝麻綠豆嘅小事。面對難題不氣餒，他朝成就必定非凡。
而家食好啲，聽日實食到早餐嘅。
Humans slaughter us for self-preservation.
It's not over till they're all dead.
Why do they want to kill each other?
We are the Walking Dead.
Starting Monday the 29th, The Walking Dead, 2 seasons, back-to-back on Pearl.
Holden Chow quits LegCo probe into UGL payment to CY loan. HKMA tightens mortgage lending in a bid to cool red-hot property market. And Trump claims Russia probe is a witch hunt against him. Good evening. Embattled pro-establishment lawmaker Holden Chow has quit the committee tasked with investigating the chief executive over the UGL saga. The committee decided to hold closed-door meetings in discussions over Leung Chun-ying's alleged interference in the probe. It's also looking to fill the vacancy left by Chow. Wenna Wong reports.
Days after the scandal first erupted, Holden Chow announced he would bow out of the investigation committee.
I have duly considered and I come to my conclusion that this is an appropriate time to make this announcement and make this decision.
Chow was a member of a LegCo committee put together to investigate Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying. It's to do with his involvement with UGL. In 2012, Leung apparently received the first installment of some $50 million from the Australian firm. The committee wanted to see if there were any conflicts of interests. Chow had earlier submitted a document to refine the committee's scope of work. But on Monday, it was revealed the CE had approached Chow to make amendments to the document. Since then, both Leung and Chow have denied any wrongdoing. Even as he was announcing his departure this morning, Chow said he was only doing it to quell political disputes so that the committee can go back to doing its job. He stressed he did not violate any rules, did nothing illegal, and did not try to conceal anything during his time on the committee. The chairman of the UGL committee said Chow's move will allow things to get back on track.
I wouldn't say it's necessary, but certainly it would facilitate the committee going back to the original track of investigation.
But opposition lawmakers think this is not enough. Not only do they want Chow to step down as a lawmaker, they also want Leung kicked out of office.
Mr. Holden Chow have already lost his credibility and integrity as a legislative councillor. I do think that he should have stepped down once the scandal was discovered by the media.
The resignation of Mr. Holden Chow does not end the matter. It still doesn't absolve the fact that he has done something that is highly inappropriate.
In the Pan-Democrats meeting just ended, we have also decided to file the motion and to follow the procedure according to the basic law to impeach Mr. Leung.
To says while the Pan-Democrats understand Leung only has about 2 months left in his term, it is a matter of principle that he should be impeached. Wen Wang, TVB News.
The Hong Kong Monetary Authority has tightened property lending to reduce risks as prices keep rising. Loan-to-value ratios for buyers with other mortgages will be cut by 10 percentage points. Debt servicing limits will also be lowered by 10 percentage points for borrowers who earn most of their income outside of Hong Kong. In announcing the new measures, which take effect immediately, HKMA Chief Executive Norman Chen also cautioned buyers.
Buying a property is not only one of the most important decisions in life, it is also a financial transaction entailing significant leverage through borrowing. Prospective buyers must be mindful of the ability to cope with the potential risks that may arise from possible changes in the property cycle as well as mortgage interest rates.
Well, the MTR Corporation says it will take weeks to inspect the overhead cables blamed for yesterday's service disruption on the East Rail line. Elmi Leung has details.
A ripped power cable between Hong Ham and Mong Kok East stations caused a service breakdown yesterday. Disruptions on the East Rail line lasted more than 4 hours. Speaking on RTHK, Francis Lee, Chief of Operating at MTR, admitted the railway had damaged cables before, but it was the first time in 2 to 3 years that one such cable broke. He said overhead cables are currently checked every 3 days by visual inspection. Only once a year will they use cranes to examine the equipment up close. Workers inspect at night with a torch. The naked eye can't spot fine cracks or loose parts on cables almost 3 meters away, said Lam Wai Keung of an MTR labor union. Legislator Michael Tien calls the current practice unacceptable. Fares go up every year. Where has all that money gone? More resources must be on inspecting the power supply system. Tien, who chaired the Kowloon Canton Railway Corporation before its merger with the MTRC, urged the firm to explore reliable power supply alternatives. According to the service performance arrangement, yesterday's disruptions may cost the train operator $7.5 million in the form of fare concessions for passengers. The MTRC is investigating how the cable snapped. Its findings will be ready in 2 months. Elmi Leung, TVB News.
Overseas, in the U.S. Air Force is accusing a pair of Chinese fighter jet pilots of conducting what they called an unprofessional intercept of an American radiation-sniffing surveillance plane over the East China Sea. The U.S. Pacific Air Force says the incident occurred yesterday when a pair of Chinese jets approached a WC-135 plane. It stressed the American aircraft was conducting a routine mission in international airspace in accordance with international law. The American crew characterized the intercept as unprofessional due to the maneuvers by the Chinese pilot, as well as the speeds and proximity of both aircraft. U.S. President Donald Trump is hoping the turmoil at home will calm down by the time he takes off for his first foreign trip as president. But amid controversy over an investigation into Russian interference in the U.S. election, a defiant Trump says that even his enemies recognize there is no collusion.
If Trump was hoping to head out on his first big foreign trip with turmoil calmed at home, he's going to have a disappointing flight on Air Force One.
Did you at any time urge former FBI Director James Comey in any way, shape, or form to close or to back down the investigation into Michael Flynn? And also, as you look back...
No. Next question.
Trump later added,
I think it's totally ridiculous. Everybody thinks so.
Well, not everybody. While Trump expressed his indignation at the White House, across town, the Deputy Attorney General briefed the Senate in private about his decision to appoint former FBI Director Robert Mueller to lead the independent Trump-Russia probe. While Rod Rosenstein steered clear of specifics, he did tell senators that he had already known Comey was getting fired, even as he wrote the memo that Trump cited as a significant justification for Comey's dismissal. Trump himself had already contradicted that explanation, telling interviewers earlier that he had already decided to dismiss Comey.
We will talk about Venezuela.
Meanwhile, Trump announced he is close to naming a new FBI director. Former Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman is seen as the front runner. As Trump heads overseas as president for the first time, the top U.S. diplomat is downplaying concerns about his credibility.
I think the people in the rest of the world do not have the time to pay attention to what's happening domestically here.
When he returns to Washington, Trump will have marked 4 months in office. But in a sign of more headaches to come, Democrats plan to remind Trump of what he's accomplished so far.
Nothing. He has nothing to show for it. The president loves to talk about the election, but the election was about jobs. Show us the jobs.
Terror in New York City yesterday when a speeding car mowed down pedestrians in Times Square. 1 person was killed and 22 others injured. Sonia Artero reports.
Video captured the terrifying moments right when the car jumped the sidewalk, sent it flying in the air before it crash-landed on a metal security pole. Witnesses insist the motorist was purposely plowing into pedestrians with his burgundy Honda.
He just started mowing down people. He didn't stop, he just kept going. The car just kept going.
He started coming up right immediately, and people were yelling, and some moved out of the way right away. Some people kind of got stuck on the car as he was driving up.
The suspect tried to flee but was tackled by bystanders until police arrested him. With bodies lying bloody, people thought New York was under attack by a terrorist.
My first thought was it's a terror act, and then my second thought was, oh my God, I hope that the perpetrator of this attack is not here.
I saw policemen, firemen running, first responders, and there were bodies scattered everywhere. A lot of lacerations, broken bones, people bleeding.
Authorities said it was not terror-related and identified the suspect as a U.S. Navy veteran.
The driver, a 26-year-old male, identified as Richard Rojas, a resident of the Bronx, was taken into custody at the scene. Preliminary investigation reveals that Rojas has a few arrests, and 2 of them are for DWI.
Rojas has been arrested at least 4 times for drunk driving and threatening someone with a knife. A friend of Rojas defended his military service, but admits he struggles with alcoholism.
He's not a terrorist. If you guys think he's a terrorist, he's not a terrorist. He served his country. He loves his country. When he came back from serving, that's when he started drinking a lot.
Rojas tested negative for alcohol, but more detailed drug tests are pending. He told officers he had been hearing voices. He's charged with 1 count of murder, aggravated vehicular homicide, and multiple counts of attempted murder. Sonia Artero, TVB News.
Sweden's top prosecutor says she's dropping an investigation into a rape claim against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange after almost 7 years. The announcement means the outspoken WikiLeaks leader no longer faces sex crime allegations in Sweden. Assange is still inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he has lived for nearly 5 years. Assange has indicated concerns that he may face